Is Feel Good Friday right here on Lookuptv today. Even tunaanza, unajua walisema moto si moto, baridi imekuwa mingi sana juu El Nino. Na DJ Dandana akona sisi leo asubuhi. DJ Dandana, how are you doing, man?
Very fine.
Yeah. Unajua jana ilikuwa mambo ya KCPE. Yeah. Na it is the last one of its kind. Yeah, ndio ya mwisho kabisa tutaiona KCPE tena. Alafu the top student alikuwa na 428 marks. That is the worst we've ever seen. Hata kama unataka kupiga makofi, that is the worst we've ever seen. Yeah? 428 marks out of 500. Alafu boy anataka kuwa engineer, software engineer. Si daktari ama neurosurgeon ama pilot. Na kuna mtu alisema anataka nikuwe president. Kwao all the students who were interviewed yesterday, by the way, hakuna hata mmoja alisema I want to be like President RUTO, want to lead this country to prosperity. Hakuna hata mmoja. DJ Dandan. Wewe unakumbuka mko ulifanya KCPE? Hebu tukumbushe. Kwanza shule yako ilikuwa na jina gani? Na walisema kama shule yako imetumika kama polling station, urudie. Anyway, this is exactly how we're going to start this morning right here on The Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. By the way, today we do have a lot that we're going to get into this morning. Nikingoja watu watengeze mic ya DJ Dandana, naambiwa ni kama ko on mute. DJ Dandana, na hukusema bwana, na tuko hapa tunapiga gumzo juu ya KCPE. Kwanza nilikuwa nataka kuchapia breaking news. Kuna jamaa mwingine hapo alikuwa na 401 marks. Tukirudi nitakwambia rudi alikuwa nani. Kwanza wakasema they need a national holiday. Juu alipata 401 marks. I'll tell you that once we come back from this break. Anyway, before we jump into what it is that we have for you this morning in terms of our conversation right here on The Morning Drift, let me then take you straight to whatever it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of your dailies, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. The Daily Nation is talking about the best of last KCPE. That is exactly the headline that you're going to wake up to this morning on the Daily Nation. And they're saying, Michael Warutere of Riara Springs Academy in Nairobi emerged top with 428 marks, followed by two girls with 427 marks. That is Jacinta Hasungu of St. Anne's Mumias Girls in Kakamega and Immaculate Waseke of Gilgil Hills Academy in Nakuru. But even as both public and private schools then posted impressive results, the final KCPE exams registered a drop in performance in most subjects. By the way, today it's all about KCPE, since we are saying goodbye to that particular syllabus. So you're going to read that story on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, and 16. That's them. So for those guys who have no interest in KCPE, please do not buy your newspaper this morning. Just go to our website on www.lookuptv.co.ke so you can actually get to see this. And on the sidelines of that, there are top candidates in Mountain. We can see exactly where that is, all the way from Deborah Aluel to Masharia Wesley Kamau, getting 415. Top performers nationally, we do have Michael Warutere of Riara with 428, and all the way to Tracy Gitare Oruru, all right, with a from Rufin group of schools with 420 marks. That's a lot, all right? And Warutere, who's the top candidate in the country's final KCPE exams, said he wants to go to Mangu High School and after that become a software engineer. Ndio nilikuwa nauliza DJ Dan, mbona unataka kuwa president? I'm an economist. Hakuna mtu alisema wanna be the top economist in this country and then come and fix our ailing economy. Hakuna hata mmoja alisema hivyo. Anyway, look at those stories on the Daily Nation this morning. Like I said, by the way, it is on pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, and 16. So it's just about the KCPE examinations. It looks this morning. You're going to read about page 3, how Nairobi then produced the best candidate in the last KCPE examinations. Read about that as well. And yeah, KCPE done and dusted. They're called then to not talk about junior secondary, just talk about secondary. And that was highlighted yesterday with calls then to adopt that particular format so that the Ministry of Education could save money. That's what it is, all right? By the way, a story here, or you're going to also read here, is that 9,300 students also failed to sit the examinations as grade 6 results set to be released later. They'll be doing those exams in January next year. That is according to the CS. Ezekiel Machogu said, yes, we ran into headwinds. It's not all of them who could sit for the exams. Now, on the back page of the Daily Nation, we're going to read about how the state is now bound to raid workers' pay as a shift law tax effect. Yeah? Read that particular story on the back page of the Daily Nation. The rate is a 2.75% proportion of monthly salary that workers in formal employment will pay to contributions to the new shift. I'm telling you what that is. Good. Natoli has also got a nomination to that particular body. Good. Let's cross over to the Standard this morning, that we can also look at the big stories that you're waking up to this morning on the Standard. It is on page 25. We're going to read a story about then how employees are bound to pay more taxes as new health rates take effect. That story covered on page 25 of the Standard this morning. And there's a story here on page 30 on how the state now is set to split Kenya power to create superpower farm. We're going to read that story on page 30 of the Standard. But then the bigger headline here as well is how RUTO now rules the stars bid buy to the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. And the headline here is that RUTO scored 428 marks after 39 years. Then the curtains have come down on the primary school's examination. That particular story covered on page 4. On the front page, you're going to see jubilant teachers and parents who are celebrating those results and that were released yesterday by Education Cabinet Secretary one Ezekiel Machogu. Yeah, and the numbers are essentially 1,415,911 registered, and absent were 9,354. Boys in this particular registration, 726,513. Girls, 689,398. And we have those ones who scored above 400 marks, 8,523. Under that, special needs are 3,456, and the total number of candidates with special needs that sat KCPE exam is 2,611. That's it. That's exactly what it is that you're going to wake up to this morning in terms of your dailies this morning. It's the same stories essentially covered on the both dailies, with a bigger headline then being the new shift from next year. You're going to be paying 2.75% out of your paycheck so that you could contribute to your health care. Remember, the promise is that you're going to be treated for free. That's what the president said. Good. Later, we'll be talking about how Man United is playing tomorrow. Najua wamekuwa wakikaa sana, hawajakuwa na stress. International break imeisha, sasa wamerudi tena kwa stress. They're playing tomorrow and next week Galatasaray away. Anyway, let's move away from what it is that you're waking up to this morning into our big conversation this morning. And I want to talk to you about a subject that is really pertinent as we close down the year. Let me talk to you about insurance. But then, not everything about insurance. I want to talk to you about your insurance. And there's a segment that is really important to you as a person in the country, or living in this economy, or really thinking about their life. We are talking about life insurance. I mean, when you hear that term, there's just a lot that you may want to associate it with. I mean, even life insurance in itself, it is an umbrella of different ways that we can talk about it. So we thought then, when could have been the best time for us to have this conversation? It is now, a time when you're closing down the year and making new resolutions for next year. Some of you have gotten their jobs. Some of you now, the kids are going to start school shortly. And you're thinking, what is going to happen next? Once I'm done then thinking about myself, I want to think about my life. So in the studio this morning, we have First, a gentleman was going to tell us exactly why you need to think about your life insurance, therefore. But then, he's from Kenya Orient. He's going to tell us the special proposition then for Kenya Orient in life insurance. This morning then, take out your pens and papers, and for those who want to learn, then this is that learning opportunity. Let's talk about your life. And in the morning, I want to talk to you about factors that will influence your life insurance premiums. Also go on a learning lesson and tell you what a premium is and look at all those factors in the perspective of Kenya Orient Life Assurance this morning. And joining us in the studio then, we do have Benedicto McKenna, who's the head of life and pension at Kenya Orient Life Assurance Limited. Benedicto, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you very much, Siba Elijah, for this invitation.
Laza.
And I'm very fine.
Laza.
Happy also to join you today to discuss this very important subject.
Yes.
About an individual or even a corporate organization's future regarding life insurance.
Life insurance, isn't it? Benedicto, but I've had a lot of conversations about life insurance, even insurance in general.
Yes.
And even before we get to tackle life insurance, every other single time I have conversations about insurance, it is an education phase for any other person. Let's start like this. Why should any other person, even without touching on life insurance, Benedicto, this morning, why should any other person think about insurance today?
Thank you very much, Elijah, for that. That's a very good question, because from the time we are young, this has always been like a subject that is difficult to understand. But in reality, it's not that difficult, because life insurance or insurance in general is about risk. Every time that we are living, every day we wake up, every day we go and we go back to our rests, back home in the evening before even we sleep, or even during the time we sleep, we are surrounded by what is called risk.
Yes.
And risk is whereby anything bad can happen. So insurance is basically about what can happen and you're not prepared. For example, an accident like today when you came in the morning, maybe just even before you entered the studio, when you are driving on the road, there was the moment you got to the road, you risk getting an accident.
Awesome.
When even for the pedestrian, when he is walking along the road, he is risking to be hit by a vehicle or even a motorbike. All these things are happening, and the risk is there. We have already seen the floods, the way the havoc has been created by the floods. Most people do not imagine that their houses could get submerged in the water, or they could have lost all their investments in terms of the rain. They were never prepared. So insurance is basically a question of a risk that may or may not happen, but there are some risks that are definitely known that at one point in time they are going to happen, and that is why we have life insurance, whereby we know that for sure death will happen at one point in time.
Awesome.
But when we are talking about fire, flooding, earthquakes, those ones are not known that they are likely to happen, and we are not sure that they may happen, but it's always either it may or may not happen.
It may or may not happen.
May not happen,
But
yes.
you're saying, Benedicto, that what we are sure about is death, isn't it?
At one point in time.
That's it, isn't it? I mean, we got to live like we know very well that we're going to die at the end of the day.
That's
Good. Which therefore takes me to my next line, therefore. Before we look at Kenya Orient Life Assurance and what it is that you're trying to do, specifically in the Kenyan space.
Yes.
Life insurance.
Yes.
Somebody asks you, what is that?
Thank you.
And I can get in today.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Edith, for that. Because basically that's a big question that even when before myself I joined the industry, that was a big question that I had. But I had somebody who was in the industry explain to me. Basically, what we mean by life insurance is basically a contract between an individual and an insurance company, which also we call insurance companies the insurer, such that at one given point in time, in case an insured event is that protection against a particular risk happens, then a certain sum amount of money will be paid to the next of kin or the beneficiaries, so that they are able to benefit as a compensation, basically to reduce the impact of that loss, because whenever a risk occurs, there's a loss. When an accident occurs, somebody loses a life, that's a loss, because maybe that person was the breadwinner for the family. So But when that compensation comes from the insurer or the insurance company, then the family is taken to a better position than the way they would have been had they not had any cover in place. So basically, that's the importance of the life insurance, and that's what it means. That contract that exists between the insurance company and the individual, or even an organization, because we also have corporate covers whereby organizations take insurance covers on their employees. For example, in the case the employee passes on during the time of service with the organization, then the family is given a certain amount of money based on the earnings of the employee by the time the person was working and before he or she passed on.
Pretty much.
Yes.
You mentioned some terms, and like I told you, we're going to go slow by slow, even before we get to Kenya Orient this morning.
Yes.
You mentioned some terms there. That is a contract between an individual and insurance company.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've mentioned some things there, next of kin
Yes.
and beneficiaries.
That's true.
And then the payments, but we're going to go back a little bit now.
Yes.
When it comes to life insurance,
Yes.
any other person who's listening to you this morning, let's define beneficiaries on a life insurance. Who can be a beneficiary on a life insurance?
Okay. In life insurance, when you talk of beneficiaries, we basically mean those people who are dependent on you from a financial perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, a wife, when a wife loses a husband or a husband loses a wife, and he was dependent on that financial benefit from the spouse, then that one he or she becomes a beneficiary. Or the children. For example, you all know that one of the major requirements or expectations of a parent is to ensure that the children's education is guaranteed. So when you take an education policy for your child or your son or your daughter or even a grandson, you are just ensuring that son will not lose the opportunity to continue the education, basically because you have lost your life or you have passed on. So basically we are saying that those people who depend on you financially, who actually started to lose when that benefit that has been existing is not there,
yes,
are the ones that are called the beneficiaries.
The beneficiaries, isn't it?
Yes.
Good.
Or the next of kin.
Over the next of kin for that matter.
Yes.
Another question you're going to find, and I've found it as well.
Yes.
And I will show you exactly the questions that I got yesterday when we floated your poster that you're
okay.
coming in the studio today, so I can actually get to answer them.
Yes.
Is it possible for any other person who's listening to you today,
yes,
for me to say, out of the beneficiaries that I'm going to attach to my life insurance,
yes,
they're going to be A, B, C, D, not necessarily
yes,
family?
thank you.
Is it possible?
Very possible, Elijah, because you know there are those people who even take care of orphan children.
Does it?
They may be in whereby we have children's home, for example, and the owner or the directors may feel that let's take life insurance,
yes,
on behalf of the children. And again, also there are some people who like life insurance is also used as a gift. There are also people who are very happy that somebody did a very good thing to them, and there's a friend or an acquaintance that they happen to come across during their life, and they're able to consider them as a beneficiary. That one is allowed by the law. And as long as the person who we usually call the person who has taken life insurance, the policy holder, as long as the policy holder has decided that this is going to be my beneficiary, we accept that and we respect that. Because you can even give, just like the way somebody can buy a plot for somebody or buy a gift for somebody, life insurance can also be given as a gift, and that person now becomes the beneficiary as admitted by the policy holder.
That's it. Guess what? I know I'm jumping the gun here, but I'm going to talk about it right here, right now, because that's a question that we got out of a poster that we floated. Somebody said this then, if indeed I'm going to add my beneficiaries,
yes,
all right?
Yes.
Are there requirements for me to add beneficiaries that are not necessarily within the family line? Is there anything that I got to do?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because again, it depends on when we are getting the information from a prospective client or a client for that matter, or when the policyholder wants to include the person as a beneficiary,
yes, there's
always a relationship. There is somewhere you explain, because we know it's when we are talking about life insurance, we have to have that information that has been given by you by consent, because even nowadays we have that element of the data protection. So we have to get the consent from you and be able to you're able to explain who is this person to you and what is the relationship between you and that person. That record is always there, including the contact of that person.
That's it.
So that one is allowed.
Pretty much. We're going to look into the factors that then affect your premiums.
Yes.
Let's talk about Kenya Orient.
Yes, sir.
In this particular space for life insurance,
Yes.
Benedicto,
Yes.
could you, what is your special proposition
Yes.
to anybody who's listening to this morning? Why would I choose Kenya Orient Life Insurance?
Yeah, thank you very much. One thing I would say is that Kenya Orient Life Assurance is a company that is already registered under the Insurance Act
Yes.
and regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. So we are basically licensed to operate as an insurance company providing life insurance benefits. And one thing I will have to say is that number one, as we are talking today, I would even like to go back to the historically, because Kenya Orient Life started in 2014. And that's the time it was registered to transact both ordinary life insurance and superannuation classes of business. Well, what we mean is that at the individual level, like they explained about a nation policy, we can be able to provide little products that are tailor-made to suit the individual, or to organizations like what we call group life cover, and at the same time deposit administration, which basically we call pension.
Yes.
All these are benefits. So when you look at that, you can be able to see that all those classes, at least if you are an individual or an organization or even an SME, you can be able to fit into the proposition of the clients of Kenya Orient Life.
Yes.
However, we also have some key benefits that we offer in terms of the products. And one thing I would have to say is that uniquely, currently, we are the highest in terms of declared returns for pension.
Yes.
You know, retirement is a sure, like the way we are saying, at one point in time we shall exit. We normally don't like calling it death. We say being promoted to the next glory. At one point in time, everyone will be promoted to the next glory.
Yes.
And just as that one happens, so
yes.
even old age will come. So when you talk about retirement, for example, we have the best returns in pension benefits, because we are currently at 11% declared interest, and for the last 7 years we have declared 10.71%, and from 2019 we have never gone below 10%, which and I would request you, Elijah, to do your survey. You'll notice that any insurance company that has declared 10% over the last 5 years, it is a company that is doing very well. Over and above that, in terms of our individual life products, like the reduction policy, we have a very good reduction policy, and also the one for savings, we call them endowment plans. And I can tell you that they have key benefits in terms of in case somebody gets disabled along the way, in the case you get an accident, you are admitted. We do not only look at death as the only thing that is taken care of in terms of insurance benefits.
Yes.
No. In case of disability, in case of injury through an accident and you are admitted, we also have some amount of money that is paid based on your sum that you had targeted. There's a percentage eligible to you, so that it takes care of you in case of those injuries. So there are also benefits like loans against you use the same life insurance contract that you have there. You use your policy as a security against taking a loan.
Yes.
And also there's also tax benefits. And one thing I will say about Kenya Orient in particular, we are currently the ones that are able to give what we call cashback benefits at the end of every year. For those people who have taken savings products, and at the anniversary, the holiday during the festivities, like this December,
yes,
we are able to give 5% back to on whatever you pay on a monthly basis for the whole year,
yes,
back to the customer, so that he or she can enjoy part of the festivities using the benefit from the life insurance. That's the case with those who have addiction policies. We at the anniversary of your child's birth, the first day of the month that your child was born, we also give back 5% of the benefit of how much you are paying, so that you also enjoy. At least you remember that you already have a cover with Kenya Orient Life. So these are some of the key benefits that I can talk about.
Yes,
and maybe to add on that, we also have benefits on what we call the last expense covers, whereby we are able to pay the assured amount to the next of kin within 48 hours, as long as you're able to provide the documentation showing that you have already lost that family member.
That's
right. Well, yeah.
A very important mention that, because I was going to come to that. There's a question that was exactly directed to that. Okay. But just before we get there, I mean, it's a good thing you're talking about the special benefits of being under Kenya Orient this morning.
Yes.
Let's then talk about your clan, and a lot of people listening to you, and they're wondering, do I qualify to start saving today for my life insurance? Could you give us the clusters, Benedicto? And we're talking about the Gen Zs, the millennials now, who started earning or starting to see exactly where their careers are going. Can I start today? And if I'm going to start today, what are the clusters that I can belong to? And how much are those clusters going to demand of me in terms of my monthly savings?
Thank you. It's a good question. And as you're asking that, I was thinking that the best time to have life insurance is actually yesterday.
It's yesterday, isn't it? They say that.
Even before we went about talk about today.
Yeah, that's it.
Because life insurance is just like an umbrella.
That's it.
Whereby, if you have, it can be sunny. But all of a sudden, it starts raining. So basically, life insurance is a key thing. And as long as, we always say that as long as you have reached that level of what we call contractuality, and the contractuality means that you already have an ID, you can enter into a contract, for example. Today, you have to have an ID, you have to have a PIN, and all these are, you are now eligible. So if you are a Gen Z, for example, you actually fit. And as long as you can be able to get some contributions on a monthly basis, you are eligible for life insurance.
Yes.
So, and that's number one. That in terms of life insurance. But at the same time, remember, as long as you have those earnings, you have gotten a benefit of some income, at one point in time, you'll also retire. So you need to start thinking about pension as well. So in other words, there is no generation that is not eligible for life insurance, except maybe the children that are in school who are not earning and they do not have that contractual ability. Yes. But also, as you talked about the position and the profile, is that from the individual point of view, where we are looking at that particular benefit, because number one, I've talked about education, and also there is also an element of savings. Each and every individual needs to save for a rainy day. Like now, the situation in the economic situation is very demanding, and you find yourself you need to have some extra cash. So saving is a key thing, and part of the benefits that we offer in the insurance industry is like they explained about the endowment plans. Those are basically geared towards savings. You can save for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. With a particular goal in mind, a financial goal in mind, that I would like to do this, and maybe buy a plot and make sure that my child is educated. At the same time, maybe purchase a house. All these are benefits that surround us, and at any one given time, an individual is growing from one income level to another, and from one need to another. So the needs are the ones that dictate what kind of a product that you'll be able to get on, and how you should start saving. And that's why I say that the savings is very critical. But that is for the individual.
Yes.
When it comes to the organizations, the employees will require those benefits, like in case of the illness, they need to be attended to they want to go and get the health benefits in terms of being attended to by the health facility. At the same time, when they are working, there's what you call a group life cover, which is basically means a death in service. When you are working, the employer would also feel that I need to protect my employees, so that they can also feel that they're happy that they're working for me. And therefore, even organizations, that is critical. Let's talk about SMEs, for example. The employees there, the employer or the directors will want to put aside a pension scheme whereby the employees are able to contribute to their retirement, and in case they even to exit that organization, there is an amount which is eligible to them, up to about 50%, which is given as a withdrawal benefit in case they will need that finance before retirement. But otherwise, the requirement is that you have to contribute up to the retirement age, or up to early retirement, which is usually given at 50 years, and based on the rules from the Retirement Benefits Authority. So all these are benefits that people look for. Even schemes, even organized chamas, even investment clubs, when you are putting into play what your goals are as a group or as a chama, in case you lose one of your members, and you had not taken any life insurance cover for your members, you see now you'll be forced to go and contribute and be able to see off the person's loss. However, when you have that cover and you have even also taken care of maybe the loans that you have already taken, you also have what we call credit life cover, whereby you also protect the loans that you have already taken, such that the individuals are not made to go and finance the payment of that loan, but the insurance takes over. Simply, insurance is a platform that helps you to transfer the risk that you cannot afford to take, and then it is managed by the insurance company, which is better placed to manage risks better than the individuals or organizations.
Yes. On this specific area for life insurance, what is the least amount of money that somebody can start with today at Kenya Orient?
I would like to put it like this.
Yes.
It depends on a number of factors, which is age, the desire, the desired amount you want to save.
Yes.
Over what period do you want to put aside this contribution so that you can be able to realize your desired amount level?
So what you're saying is that you can actually set a period.
You can set a period, and that will now determine how much do you pay towards that and the particular product that you are looking for, because we know different people desire different products. Like the way you go into a showroom and somebody won't like this model of a car, another one would like the other model. And again, the need. We always say that we always still make those products based on the need of the person. What do I need to prepare for? What do I need to set aside for? Why do I need a product for what particular reason? Yes. Is it an addiction policy for my daughter, by my children? Is it I want to put aside savings because you cannot be able to save, especially when you are planning to save and you can be able to access the money anytime. So the savings meaning, but insurance helps to lock in your savings and able to realize over time. So it is dependent on a number of factors.
Yes. Just before we look into the factors that are going to affect the kind of premiums that I'm going to get from my life insurance, there's a question here that you really have to answer then. Yes. Somebody is asking this. I'm just going to be very specific on the question, by the way, this morning, so that we don't get it wrong. Here it is. Yes. What journey do you walk with your clients who save for longer periods with you? Could you describe that journey? And they're asking that in cases where somebody is struggling to pay.
Thank you very much. That's a good question.
Yes.
Given that just like life insurance is about uncertainties, we are also not very sure of what may happen tomorrow. You may have a job today, and because of the situation, you get people who are retrenched, and this happen. However, the good part of it is that as an insurance company, for example, if I take I talk about Kenya Orient Life. The journey starts by the moment you come into contact with us, either through a phone call or through one of our representatives. The first thing that we do, or the representative does, is first of all do a fact finding. What kind of a product are you looking for? Because sometimes you may think this is what you need, but the financial advisor may advise you in a different way and tell you what you need is this kind of a product. Once that one is agreed, then you get a quotation detailing the benefits and the premium payments based on your age and the other factors and the product and all that. And then from there, once that one happens, we'll be able now to provide what we call an application form or a proposal form, whereby you feed into your details, and then we have a data bank of your information as an organization. So what we usually do is that we always say that the contract takes place when there is the payment of that consideration, which is basically the amount of money that is done, and qualifying all what we call the underwriting requirements. The underwriting requirements is that there are some levels that will require us to request you to do a medical examination so that we can determine your health status. And currently, most customers are within the limit that you don't need to go for medical examination. Once those conditions are satisfied, we now go to the next level, whereby we look at your request, and once it is approved, we say that it has been underwritten, and when it is underwritten, we usually provide a customer with what we call a policy document. A policy document is just basically an evidence of a contract existing. Just like the way you have a title deed showing that you own a piece of land somewhere. It's the same thing with a policy document. That policy document is basically that contract that we talked about. It is basically an evidence of a contract. Just like the way when somebody is married, he or she has a lien, it shows that that person is married. It's an evidence. Then the journey now continues. And we communicate to you in case of any changes, in case there is probably a delay in the payment of premiums or from an organization, because there are some people who pay through their employers, there are some people who pay through, let's say, other modes of payment like M-Pesa, or they're deducted from the bank. If there's any, we keep on communicating with the customer. And one of the key things that I must mention here is that because of the technology and the development of the technology, we already have what we call a client's portal, whereby you can be able to usually give a link whereby you're able now to track your payments, you track the performance of your cover. So basically that journey is continuing. And as I mentioned earlier,
yes,
for those who have already our clients and they have continued paying fee-free, we also have those the benefits like I talked about. They are called cashbacks at the end of the year or at the anniversary date of your child. So there is that journey. Basically, you know, the trend nowadays globally is that you have to keep on interacting with your customers. Mm-hmm. And as you said, sometimes their things may not work quite very well. And what we do is that we have that conversation. And we are able we can design the product or the premium payment to fit your current situation. It's not a must that you must stick to what you paid.
Yes.
And sometimes we also allow what we call deferring of the cover until let's say like you have that job you have lost, and we can defer that one and you're able to continue after some time.
You've gotten back the job, isn't it? Yes. And take a minute to respond to this. In cases where I've improved my job,
yes,
and that's a question that we got as well,
yes,
but I was earning 100,000, now here's a job that has given me 150,000,
yes,
and I want to pump up
yes,
my savings,
yes,
in that platform.
Yes.
What do I need to do?
What we usually do is
yes,
that we have a pay bill whereby you can pay that money.
Yes.
You can deposit into accounts.
Yes.
And, actually, that one is advised because there are sometimes you can have let me say a windfall, and you feel that I need to put in some premiums ahead so that I can take care of a situation that may not be known in the future. That one is acceptable.
Yes.
And either a customer can call us or he can deposit and then share with us the deposit slip. And even because of the improvement technology, we are able to see that one of our customers has paid, and we can even contact the customer. So we are able to assess because of the technology.
Pretty much. But take also a minute to summarize this particular areas here. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us how age, gender, health, and specifically on this, we do know very well that life insurance is very critical on following people's drug use and smoking and alcohol use as well, and lifestyle, family medical history, and driving records. How does this affect my life insurance premiums payout from a Kenya-oriented perspective? I want to make it very specific to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Siba. And I want to respond by saying this. Age is a key factor because we have what we call mortality rates. Mortality rates are basically the probability that somebody will pass on at a particular age in time.
Yes.
When every other factor remaining constant, where the older you are, the more likely you are likely to pass on.
Yes.
So the younger you are, the better for you in terms of the premium payments. So you are for the same benefit of, let's say, if you take somebody who is 45 years of age and somebody who is 25 years of age, for the same benefit, everything, including the product, including the amount that you are targeting being the same, the one of 25 years will pay less than the one of 45 years. So age is a factor, and as well as age, you also you have talked about we say the occupation, for example. There are those people who are engaged in a very hazardous occupation, and there are those people who operate machines, and the risk is higher than somebody who is working like you, for example, whereby the risk of getting
accidents and all that is quite low, isn't it? Yes.
So now what we usually do is that for such a person, we do not reject those kind of people with that kind of a risk, but there is an extra amount of money that you add. We call it loading in from an insurance term, that takes care that we still accommodate you, and we will accommodate you knowing your status, and we will be able to take care of you as well. Because insurance companies, and let's say Kenya Life, for example, the objective is not to reject those covers for particular people, but is actually to add a light and see this is the risk that is involved, and we're able now to accommodate you. The same case with health. there are those people who suffer from let's say a particular illness, maybe it is chronic. Again, they are also not rejected, but what happens is that because we ask for those health records and we are now able to know the status of that health and how it can impact on their life insurance, so we are able also to accommodate them at a particular, maybe set a higher amount of money than rejecting them again.
Does it?
When you come to things like the way you talked about
no alcohol use, smoking, driving record.
Insurance is a bit interesting because what may look like a very serious alcohol abuse for you may not necessarily be the same with insurance, because insurance will also look at we usually say insurance is about large numbers.
Does it?
We look at what level can we say now this is beyond the normal level. But what we usually advise is declare that maybe you take you smoke this number of cigarettes on either daily or a weekly level, this number of bottles. And most people fear to say that, but from an insurance perspective and as an insurance professional, I would say don't fear.
Don't fear.
Explain, and so we are able now to take you knowing this the level of the risk that is already involved. So that is also. But the other area is like you talked about driving. You know, sometimes when you are young, and I believe you are the same case with me, you know, even when I was young, the desire to speed was there.
Fast cars and
so now you have what we call young and probably inexperienced people, and the premium may slightly be higher. But and that's why you notice that when most people are taking the motor insurance covers, there is a question. What is your driving experience? So, and you also ask for a driving license that is able to tell us when did you get a license, what is likelihood that you
how many times has it been suspended?
Yes, exactly. And when maybe, and even when you are renewing, they will because they have the records of the claims that you have had, you may not get a discount because of that fact. But all these are factors that influence. And therefore, depending on what you are looking for, it's also dependent on a particular maybe even when you talk of lifestyle, for example. There are people who like getting engaged in sports. Some of the sports are very risky, like motor learning. Others, you know, there's also what we come across in the insurance industry. Even when you're looking at Kenya Online for Life, for example, there are those people who do what we call scuba diving. They want to swim under the water in the oceans. So that also has a risk. So lifestyle also depends. But as I said, as a Kenya Online Life, we look at this and we're able now to provide by doing what we call prudent underwriting. And onto that, I'd say, because you wanted to be specific about Kenya Online Life, I need to say here that last year, in 2022, we won an award on the group life loss ratio award, which means that that simply says because we are fast runners up, and that tells you that we carry out what we call prudent underwriting, and we're able to assess the risks in the right manner.
Pretty much. I've got two questions left in this conversation, and one that I want you to look into fast and take 45 seconds to answer it. When you look at the outlook of Kenya Orient Life Assurance, what is it? Looking back at how you performed in 2023, what outlook do you have for it in 2024?
Okay, a good question, and I want to say that 2023 has been a difficult year, and we have not been able to realize what we had projected for as an organization as Kenya Online Life. However, looking back, as you have said historically, from 2014, when you know, the one way of looking at the performance of an organization is looking at the asset base. And what I can say is that from 2014, from an asset base of 280 million, we have been able to grow currently as at now to an asset base of 4.1 billion. And that is within a period of 9 years, we have been able to cover cover that journey. Another aspect is like the way I talked about our deposit admission book, which is a pension book. We were licensed to transact the deposit admission on pension by the Regulatory Benefit Authority in 2016. But we have grown from a base of 600 million to a base of 1.3 billion, and we are projecting to grow to 2 billion come 2024. And even as you talked about 2020, in terms of our asset base, we expect to grow to 4.2 billion by the end of this year, and at the same time we are expected to grow to 5 billion next year. However, I'd also like to talk about the outlook in terms of customers. What is in it for our customers? Number one, I must say that we have invested a lot as an organization in terms of technology, and for what we call a client management system, we have a very good life system that is able to track the performance and respond to our customers in real time. As I mentioned, you have a client portal whereby our clients can easily interact with us.
Yes.
And at the same time, we are coming up with tailor-made products that will always fit our customers. And this is something that is ongoing. We have a product development team that is able to assess the requirements in the economy, in the sector, and what our clients looking for. Or those ones that are there are already providing better products.
Yes.
And also in terms of the life insurance, in terms of individuals, I must say that our products are very unique, and when the customers or prospective customers are able to try to look for the benefits, they will be able to see that compared to our competitors, we have a very good product.
Pretty much. Mr. McKenna, take 45 seconds. That's exactly what we have left.
Yes.
If I'm looking for a good life insurance company for me to start making my savings in, what am I supposed to look for? Top 2 things that you're looking for, and how is Kenya Orient ticking those boxes? 45 seconds.
Thank you very much, Shiba. Number one, I'll have to say that there are 2 key things.
Yes.
What kind of product are you looking for? And that's why I said, because of the proposition of our customers, as Kenya Orient Life, we can serve any customer. So any product that you're looking for in life, we have it. Number 2, does the company pay claims? I must say that in Kenya Orient Life, we are known, we pay claims. And that is very, very critical, because at the end of the day, you'd not like to invest and then you're going to get the benefit of the investment.
Pretty much.
So that is, I can comfortably say that. And I'll also not forget that the individual products are very good. I've mentioned the benefits, but also let them not forget that our return on pension is the highest, and we have been performing very well across the board. And even the growth is enough to tell you that it's an insurance company that you can be able to be confident that you have not gotten it wrong when you invest with us.
In his words, look for someone who's paying those claims. Look at the returns, and they're saying they've been above 10% since 2018, isn't it?
Yes.
It was like that?
Since 2019.
Since 2019. Then that's exactly how you know that you're in the right hands. We're speaking to Benedicto McKenna, who's the head of life insurance and pension at Orient Life Assurance Limited. Now, you do know exactly why you need that insurance today. And he's saying 2 things are quite sure: you're going to die. That's an assurity. So if you are sure about that, then you got to start saving for it, isn't it? Benedicto, thank you very much for coming by, man. Any other time. Yeah. All right. We take a tiny breather right here on The Morning Drift. Once we come back, DJ Dan Dana is going to chase the cold of El Nino from the building. More conversations to follow next. My name is Simba Elijah Charles King. I can see you shortly.